Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. As always with the big games, we get the big guests. And there's none bigger in the Melbourne world than this man. As we know, we've had you on the channel quite a bit, mate. Caden, thanks for joining us.
Jake, thanks for having me on, mate. When you said there was none bigger, I was glad you said the Melbourne world because I've seen some of the guests you've had on your podcast recently, and I don't even belong in the same sort of stratosphere as them. You've been smashing it this year, so it's been great to see. And the Saints, after a great start and then a bit of a plateau, are just racing back into the top four conversation. So this weekend should be very interesting.
Mate, thanks for the compliment, but you as well, mate. You've been smashing it, and I want to get your guess behind the scenes sort of vibe on Spud's game. You just posted that video about it. Obviously, that's very close to every Sainter's heart, that game, and obviously Spud himself. So, what was it like being involved in that?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was it was quite funny, to be honest. We got invited down by the St Kilda Footy Club just to be sort of runners and then on the mic and interview some of the players. And myself and Connor in particular, we've been grinding to try and sort of solidify ourselves as media personalities for a long, long time. And it's, I've been doing YouTube for seven years now, 7 years plus, and been trying to get into radio for sort of 8 or 9. So we're starting to get gigs like this that start to feel sort of real, like we're slowly getting there. But it was quite funny when the St Kilda Football Club did a little post about us being the runners and asked us a couple of questions about the game. Some of the top comments were like, "Why isn't this the Saints fan TV, boys?" And it was a great question because you are very loyal St Kilda media personalities yourselves. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing to be involved. Obviously raising awareness for mental health and all the great stuff that they're doing down at the Danny Frawley Centre as well. And then being out in the middle when they did that 2 minute delay of the game was absurd. Like I didn't know we were doing that part of the ceremony. And when we were in the middle and the Saints boys and the Lions all come together, I was so daunted being out there. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. And yeah, my vlogs are a couple of weeks late, but I did just get it up today. So if anyone wants to check out sort of the behind the scenes, that'll be on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, check it out, Sainers. Now onto this week. It's round 17 now, so we're getting to that really crucial part of the season, aren't we? Where the top four, they don't want to drop games because there's big ramifications for them. Home final, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously that bottom part of the 8, teams chasing the top four, but also want to solidify their position in the 8 because there's teams outside the 8, as we know, like Geelong, that are good enough to take a spot, So this is massive. This is the biggest Saints D. I think I've said that to you the last couple of times, but this is genuinely a top 5 clash at round 17. We haven't had that in 10 or so years.
Well, last year I reckon it was potentially 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 by round 8. That was definitely a top 4 clash, but that was in a weird state of the year where sometimes the top 8 doesn't look like what it will eventually turn out to be. But that was still a pretty big game. But I think this is significantly more important. Yeah, you said a lot of the top 4 don't want to drop games, but I'd say 3 teams in the top 4 don't want to drop games. And the Melbourne Footy Club, we've lost 4 of our last 6, so we seem pretty comfortable just letting them slip through our hands at the moment, which has been so frustrating. I felt like we'd built a really solid foundation, 7 and 2 a few weeks ago, and now we're sort of not back in and amongst the pack. We still have that percentage, and we still are in a pretty strong position, and we're playing some great football. I think our defense is stacking up. Our contest has been enormous. Our clearance has been amazing. It's just not clicking on the scoreboard. We can't quite convert. So we need to respond. We need to win, and if we do win this, it is an 8-point game. So we do get that buffer and that gap again. So it doesn't get more important than this Saturday night.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of polar opposite to our games on the weekend. You guys dominated stats. Like the numbers, like 73 inside 50s to 46. I was like that's how can a team lose with that many? I mean, obviously from a D's point of
Oh,
view,
man.
you're probably thinking about that every day. But I was just like, what the hell, man? And then for us, it was, we didn't play as good, but we just got over the line. And that that in itself, like your game, could have been one, I guess, that we could have slipped through our fingers at halftime. We were 31 points down to the Eagles at one point. I'm like, that's panic stations. That's some people turned off the telly at halftime, walked away. They had to go for a jog with their dog or something, really detox. Because a lot of Saners thought the game was done. They didn't see us really turning it around. That's how bad the energy was.
Yeah.
But I guess we turned it around, and that's a good thing, right? I mean, it is West Coast, but they brought probably their best performance of the last 13 or so weeks. They had to after what had happened.
Some games you just have to bank. Some games, Geelong last year had games where they just had to bank points and they didn't play their best. And I think to clearly not play your best against it's such an even comp as well. And I know that West Coast are the outlier, so it did look like a bit of a skewed result. But if West Coast had their full team on the park, that's a tricky trip to head over to WA and beat them over there, no matter where they are on the ladder. It's sort of like when we headed down to GMHBA. No matter where Geelong are on the ladder, that's a tricky trip. So to be so far off your game and still find a way to get the result, it's not one you're going to look back on and buy the DVD and watch back on KO. But I think as Saints supporters, you should be proud that they just got the result. You get out of there, you get back to Marvel, and you're still in the hunt. So that's all that counts.
Exactly. And you look at towards the end of the season, and we don't know what the ladder's going to look like in six weeks' time. But if you're just sneaking into the 8, you go back to games like that, don't you? And you're like,
100%.
Bloody hell, luckily we turned that around.
Yeah, they're so important, and especially how close the competition are. And yeah, as I said, a couple of weeks ago, Brisbane played Hawthorn at the MCG, and Hawthorn were put in the category as West Coast at the start of the season, and Brisbane couldn't find a way to bank those points. Now, we don't know how important dropping those 4 points will be come the end of the season, but in the same sort of breath where they dropped points, your boys found a way to take the points, and yeah, it'll go a long way when push comes to shove at the end of round 24.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that the D supporters going into this game are kind of that opinion of normal, general gameplay is pretty good. We're getting a lot of the footy. We're getting it into the right spots. We're just not finishing our hard work. And if we just do that this week, we'll win easy. Do you think that's kind of the general consensus of the D's faithful at the moment?
I do, to be honest. And there's so many teams who we have struggled against across the years. The Bombers are always plucky against us. Freo are always plucky. And I feel like Saints at Marvel for a long time, we couldn't beat you guys. I think we had a 12-game losing streak, didn't beat you for 10 years, hadn't won at Marvel for 15 years or something. And I feel like since Goodwin's come in, we play that stadium pretty well at the moment. So I think if we are the team I think we want to be and we should be, it should be a game where you could almost go in confidently. But, we lost to GWS. We've dropped points left, right and centre. Our season is on a knife's edge. So even though I think we could and should get it done, I'm not walking in ridiculously confident.
Yeah, and I guess the scary part is our early season form was pretty damn good. We won the first 4 games of the year. We were one of the hottest teams in the AFL in the first 10 weeks. We haven't seen that for 10 weeks, So, I mean, if you're looking at law of averages, we're kind of due a decent performance. We're kind of due, King is due a performance. A lot of the other boys are. And I should have known earlier, but it's Jack Steele's 150th as well. Not that we play well in milestone games, but worth noting that we could be up and about for this one.
Yeah, it's it reminds me of last season. So we had played in Alice, and then we came back and played at Marvel against the Dogs, and we just got ourselves into a shootout. And the Bulldogs, who for most of last year were a bottom 8 side, set themselves, as they would, to the reigning premiers at the time, and had one of the greater performances for their season. Jamara kicked 5, and they put us to bed by. It was sort of like a kick for most of the game, but they put us away with 30 seconds to go to seal it by 10 points. And that was one where I went far out. It's slipping away. Like our season really is slipping away. And it's the same time of the year. It's the same situation. It's the same scenario. And we just can't get into a shootout. We play a really good contested brand, a really good territory brand. We get the ball forward. And in the last few weeks, I know we played against Geelong in the wet and GWS in the wet, but we've had it living in our front half. We just can't put it on the scoreboard. And I know people say that, their forward line is an issue. It's not in terms of we're getting chances. So Bailey Fritsch being out is a real worry because he's one of the silkiest players in our team. But we are getting the chances, and now we just got to convert. And, yeah, it's a massive game for that.
Yeah, and Van Ruin, he's dropped, is he? Ben Brown's back. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, so I thought JVR was rested because he'd had a big workload in our side, but he played VFL on the weekend and kicked 4. So, yeah, he clearly was dropped, which was a massive head scratcher. I thought he was rested and then he was emergency, and I was like, that makes sense. He's 19, 20 years old, played, most of the season in the ones, bit of load management, but he ended up, playing in the 2. So I guess he was omitted, which is a real head scratcher considering he's one of our most accurate, goal kickers and one of our better forwards. So, that is a bit mystifying.
Now, I'll be honest. There's 2 things that worry me about this game. 2 main things. And they're basically both of our weaknesses and your strengths. So midfield, our weakness at the moment. I think our mids, apart from Brad Crouch, who's been awesome, well down. Rowan Marshall's carrying the workload there big time. And your mids are obviously, you got Oliver and Petrarca who kill us every time. And then you've got not one, but you've got 2 basically 2 intercept marking defenders. And we'd love to turn them into James Sicily and give them 50 marks and 45 disposals and 400 Supercoach points.
Yeah.
I'm having nightmares that that's just going to happen again, because that's been our issue. I think we've actually been worse with Max King back. Can you believe? Because we just want to bomb it to him now because we see that shortcut, and we were unpredictable without him. And I think the only way we can win this game is to somehow occupy Lever and May. But they've been unreal this season, haven't they? They've been good.
Yeah, well, so our backline started really poorly. We were leaking 80, 90 points a game, but we were sort of kicking 130. It was a really weird start to the year where our forwards were kicking straight and, being really efficient when we went forward. So we were putting on good scores, but also leaking big scores. And it cost us against Essendon. We sort of didn't kick the scores we were kicking in the first couple of rounds, but then still conceded. And I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, geez, our cornerstone is normally our defence, but it's been back for the last sort of 10 weeks. It's really, really solid. We've gone bigger as well. Like we had Adam Tomlinson come in to give Lever and May a chop out. He then got dropped for Petty. Now, we don't know our forward mix, but it's still, Petty going in defence still means we have that bigger body and it gives them a chop out as well. So, yeah, they have been in good form. Every team that we verse who beat us are the teams who just find that shorter option like that. Yeah, if you can cut us up and not kick it to May and Lever and Petty and Rivers and Bowie, who turns like they all can intercept, which is a real strength of ours. If you can sort of avoid that, then you'll be in the hunt.
So would you say that like medium-sized forward, say like a Mitch Owens, do you think he could possibly be a bit of a dodgy matchup for any of your backs?
Yeah, I think that's the perfect one. Like the sort of Ash Johnson, Gary Rowan, Mitch Owens types are the ones where, I'll walk away from a game at Geelong and I'll go, I did not see Tomahawk. I did not see Jezza Cameron. And then I look at the score sheet and Gary Rowan's kicked 4. And it's like, oh, that's so frustrating because I felt like we've done the work against some of the most damaging. But that's a credit to a team like Geelong who has the depth. Well, I think Mitch Owens is is a tough matchup for anyone. He's just got such a great build. He's so athletic. He can take big clunks, but he's, obviously great on the ground. So he is someone that, could give us a few headaches going into this game.
Is he your because we had that video at the start of the year, the AFL predictions video, and I think I tipped Filippo for the Rising Star. I'm not sure, who did you tip? Did you tip Ashcroft?
There's no way I tipped Sheasel at the time, is there? I think I would have tipped Ashcroft. Or
I think you tipped Filippo, was it? I swear.
Maybe I did, because I do like that man. He's got a lot of swagger about him.
Who's your tip now, though?
Well, it would be Sheasel now. But
you reckon Sheasel? You reckon they'll go a mid? Do you reckon just the accumulation gets the job done?
Just the numbers are just crazy. Now, I know he's sort of been given the license to roam off the back line, but yeah, his numbers and his composure and his silkiness is insane. But going a bit broader and looking a bit broader, I'm well aware that Mitch Owens is well and truly in the hunt. Like, I think Champion Data have him as one of the best players in the comp or something like that.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I would still probably have to say Sheasel, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch Owens got the nod.
Yeah. All right. Before we end the video, I saw your Hawthorn top 5 video. I want to throw some Saints names your way, and I want you to rank them. All right.
So blindly ranking 5 Saints. Players.
Yeah.
I love.
So
this
can
game.
I just pick any? Do I have to pick them out of a hat? How does what do I do? Can I just throw names your way and then you do it?
Well,
because I might be biased.
We went on a randomizer website, but I reckon off the top of your head, just chuck them at me and I'll order them for you.
All right. All right. Let's just go. Let's go.
I could do this all night, by the way. I love these games.
Cal Wilkie.
Oh, he's tough because
he could be one.
I'm gonna say he's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to be a stitch up if you give me 2 absolute stars, but I'm going to say Cal Wilkie's number 2.
All right. Random generator. Mason Wood.
Been good this year. I'm going to say he's number 4.
All right. Jack Higgins.
Oh, now this is really, really tricky. He could be a serviceable 3. But then what if the next player... I'm going to say Jack Higgins, number 3.
All right. Max King.
I'm going to say Max King 5. Which...
Put him under...
Yeah, I'm going to put him 5. Oh, no.
I mean, what's left? 1.
Yeah.
See, it needs to be generated because now who do I say? Like, Dougal Howard. No. I mean,
Jack Steele.
It's Jack Steele for his 150th. He goes there, or Sinks. You can pick out of those 2.
Number 1.
Yeah.
There we go. That looks okay. Yeah. I think I stuffed myself with the Higgins selection.
What was the list again? Can you read that out?
Well, so I went Wilkie number 2 because he's had a great season, but I could have put him like a 4 and given myself room because I think he's really important, but he's also quite underrated. So I went Wilkie 2, and then I had Mason Wood, so I went 4. I probably could have gone 5, and then Jack Higgins went in 3, and then we were just rooted.
4. Yeah,
yeah.
And
so
King 3.
Yeah. Great game though.
It is, but it's so hard, like because I'm doing the order in my head, and then I'm picking.
It's got to be random.
I'm basically, yeah. Throw some D's names my way.
All right, random D's players.
I don't know any of them, but we'll see how we go.
I'm going to get some names up so it's a bit more random.
Yeah.
All right. Random teams. AFL. Here we go.
All right, come on.
Christian Salem.
Oh, he's underrated, but he's very good. I'm going to put him right in that sweet spot. I'm going to go 3.
Lockie Hunter.
Ooh.
I'm going to make this hard.
5.
Tom Sparrow.
Oh, damn it. That's annoying. It's going to have to be 4 then.
Angus Brayshaw.
2. I feel like I should have put him 1.
Now I feel bad. Yeah, now that I'm going to say...
Because now it's like...
Yeah, I'm going to
You're
say...
gonna pick
I'm going to have
Luke
to give you
Dunstan.
someone... Yeah. I'll say Fritter, who has to be number 1. But that's a serviceable list. And that was very random.
You reckon Sparrow 5 in your list?
See, it's so tough. I've just picked like none of these players are stars for us, but they're all so serviceable. Like you could even go like Salem 1. You could go Brayshaw 1. I think so. What you had Sparrow 4. Hunter's been so serviceable for us this year. I reckon Hunter's had a better year than Sparrow, so you could almost swap them.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be cool to do. You can do combined ones too, can't you? You could do this for hours, like combined Saints and Melbourne top 5.
Oh, I could do this forever.
Like, that'd be nuts. Yeah, but we'd need a proper generator for that one, otherwise.
Yeah, the generator's the key. Makes it completely random.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, let's get some final predictions on the game. Give me your gut feel. What's your gut telling you?
All right. I think we're going to make this the most boring Saturday night game anyone could ever tune into because it's going to be territory. It's going to be defense. We're going to stop the counter attack. We'll leak a few, but it'll just be forward footy by the Ds, live in our forward half. But because we don't have Fritter, we don't have Oliver, hopefully Van Rooyen comes back in, we're only going to kick 80, and I think the Saints will kick 60, and we'll win by 20 points.
I feel like that would actually suit us too if the game's a bit of that sort of contested slow style. But our early season form was so good because we played fast off the rebound. So if Lever or May have had at least 4 marks apiece in the first quarter, game over. If we can keep it on the ground a bit more and use some handballs and run, I see us with a chance, especially with some of those names you're missing. I forgot about Oliver. It's a big one. So I'll go Saints by 10 just to keep that top 4. That we would actually go 4th. I can't believe some people are like, Saints, the worst team ever to be in 5th. I'm like, we're 5th because we're better than all the teams under us. Like, it's just, you can't question that, can you?
No, you can't. And you look down the ladder, I don't think there's many teams that really deserve to be higher than you guys at all. Like Freo have been real iffy. Dons have played well, but they've had some, iffy patches. There's Gold Coast. We all think Geelong probably deserve to be in there, but if you look at Geelong's record, they don't deserve to be anywhere near the top 8. So you're as good a team as anyone in there. This might just be a game. So we've won only 2 of our last 6. This might just be a game where we just need the 4 points. Like this might be close. It might be unconvincing from a Melbourne point of view, but if we can just bank some 4 points here, it could really set us up. Yeah, and I think you'd probably feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more form just because our form's been so down the last month since before the bye. But I mean, against the Ds, we've had cracks against Port and Brisbane at Marvel, where like I've deemed them like statement games, where it's like we're playing genuine top 4 teams, and it's a good barometer for us, and we didn't get near them. If we can get past the Ds, I'll be like, okay, there's a little bit more progress there. Because last year we wouldn't have beaten a team like Melbourne, a top 4 team. So under Ross, I dare say, both teams' defenses are going to be very important in this game. Very important in this game. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you enjoy that, Sainers. Thanks for coming on, mate, and chatting Saints Ds. You're going to be there, aren't you? You'll be there?
I will be there. I don't enjoy traveling to Marvel that often. It's but given we played in the pouring rain, like 5 of our last 6 games, thank goodness we're going to see us in normal conditions. So I actually am thankful for the roof and the dome and all the festivities that'll be there from the Saints.
Yeah. Well, Sainers, get to the game because the Ds won't, obviously. Caden's just mentioned. It's not a happy hunting ground there. Get there for Steely's 150th. We want to get a good crowd, and the boys need it. This is a big game for us, obviously for the Ds, but I think more so for us just to, I don't know, get past last week and get that top 4 chance. Big game. So thanks again, mate. Thanks for jumping on. Always a pleasure chatting to you, and good stuff this year. You've been killing it. Keep it up.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake. All the best on Saturday, mate.